Today I'm going to show you guys how to quickly and easily get a bunch of forensics data from a hard drive, either from your computer or someone else's computer. You kind of see in the movies how they plug it in and they gather all this information about what the user was doing. Here's a quick and easy free way to gather a pretty large amount of data. It's good for being free. So we're actually going to be running it on Windows. It's a little easier to install there, so I'd recommend starting there. It's called Autopsy. And make sure you start it as administrator. Otherwise, we'll have trouble seeing the disks. So I currently have a Mac hard drive that we're going to run this on connected to this Windows machine, and I mounted it via some other software. But it's directly attached to the Windows machine. So we'll start a new case. We'll just call it MacBook Air, single user, next, and then we'll give it a case number. And we'll hit finish. So now we're going to be giving it the path to either the drive, or if you have like a virtual disk you want to run this on, it does support that as well. So we'll just leave everything default here. We're going to select local disk, but you can see virtual disk, files. You can even run it on just specific files. So we're going to select our disk, and it's this one here, drive 8. So yeah, if you don't run it as administrator, you won't see any disks here. So if that's the case, go back, close it, and just reopen it as administrator. It'll be fine. Next. And then these are the modules kind of what information you want it to gather. You can kind of click through and view. So here, like for example, keyword search. Let's look for phone numbers, IP addresses, URL. Let's just turn everything on so you can see. And then enable. We don't want to turn on OCR because I have a feeling it's going to really drag the processing down, take forever to finish, but we're going to check multimedia. So you can kind of get a sense for how much stuff it's actually going to collect, but I'll show you afterwards. Let's see if there's anything else. You can even have it recover corrupt files on the ingest process. And you can give it YARA rules here. We're not really going to give it any YARA rules or anything, but if you were looking for something specific, it's not hard to write a YARA rule to find exactly what you're looking for and just let it run that. So let's hit next. And now it's going to add the drive and start the ingest process. Now that'll take quite a bit of time to finish depending on how big the drive is, but I would expect this drive to take at least an hour or two. But it will start pulling in data, and we'll cut right now to once it's done so I can show you what it looks like. Okay, so our process finally finished. It went through the whole drive. It took about, I think, 6 hours about or so. And now I'll show you a couple things that you can do with that data. So, of course, on this left side here, you can just sort by file types, expand this out by extension. It'll give you a bunch of stuff, but the cooler stuff is, and you can see metadata, EXIF data, that's like photo geolocation stuff, but you need geolocation, and it's going to put everything on a map. So let's say if I wanted to go and see what was going on here, I can actually click on it, show me the image, but I can do more, and I can go see results in timeline, and it will show on a timeline here, and this is the computer's data essentially. It gives you a timeline, and you can view by year, month, day. So I'll show you how you access it. If you go timeline here without going an image first, you can see the whole timeline. Let's go by, here's the details of it. So you can see just like a timeline view of what was taken, what was going on the machine at that time. You can obviously click in any of these. I'm just not doing it so I don't expose someone's data. You can see it in list format, document created, blah, blah, blah. So this is just a timeline of everything that's taken place, essentially. If it was user-generated data. That's cool. So let's look at their image module here. So if I wanted to sort by path, I can sort by path, and it will give me the paths. But the better ones for most people is either tag, camera make, which should be, here's the cameras right here, iPhones, etc., or model. It'll tell you the specific version of the phone that the data was taken with. Yeah, so this tool is incredibly powerful, actually, even though I'm kind of giving you just a basic high-level overview of it. Let's see if we've got, so you can see URLs here. So this will be every URL it was referenced on the computer and how many times it was accessed. It's a pretty big list here. And you can, of course, export all these as CSV tables or anything like that. User content suspected. So it's after its analysis, it is thinking that these are all things that were generated by the user. And based on what I'm seeing, it looks like that's probably correct. I have tags off because it will, just take so long to do the tags and keywords. But you can specify any of these or write Yara rules to find specific bits of information. I just didn't turn them on for this example, but they're pretty cool. And let's see, deleted files. We can look at, there we go. All right. Massive list here. And then also, if you wanted to go to like see what kind of extensions, or I guess they call them ingest modules, we can go in and go look at the plugins and available. I don't think I have any available, but so here's a couple of additional things you can look at or tell it to do. So like keyword search, we just talked about that one, but email parser. So if there's non-encrypted emails, it will just parse them out, and you can search for key terms. Not sure. I had to look up what this one was. I can't quite remember, but and then they have experimental image galleries, and you got settings in here. I'm just going to generate a report really quick so you guys can get a sense for what it looks like. We'll just do an HTML report, and we'll just say, do everything. All results, finish. Just going to wait for this to go here. Cool. Done. And let's open it up. So this is what the reports look like. This is just a standard report, but you can see here on the side. So accounts, credit cards. I got to blur that stuff. I don't know if those are real credit card numbers or just random numbers it's picking up. So we can go in like EXIF metadata. Here's all the files that are associated metadata with them. Let's see, extension mismatch, interesting items. There's some sort of encryption tool on the device. Here we can actually see the keywords. So in here, there's pretty much URLs. I think I just put URLs only on this one. So it'll show URLs and info about when they were accessed, what the actual direct link was, etc. We can go into metadata. There's also a fair amount of data in here in these reports. So it's all files that have associated metadata. So let's see. We can see some metadata there. I don't want to show too much of this, so I'm going to have to blur it anyway. But and then user-generated content, we said before. So we can actually go back and run the modules again. If there were some that I skipped, so like let's say I wanted to go and run ingest modules again. So we'd go here and go run ingest on physical drive, and then it pulls up this menu again that we saw in the beginning. And let's say if we deselect all, and let's just say we want to look at, let's do keyword search, and let's not just do let's do email, IP addresses, and phone numbers, and then we'll just hit finish. So you can always go back and then rerun whatever module you didn't initially run. Probably one of the better free tools out there. Just real quick, if you're looking for one specifically for Mac, it's Auto Mac TC is probably the easiest one to run. If you're looking to run something specifically just on a Mac drive and just want to collect the data, it's pretty straightforward. You just install it, run it, and point it to the drive, and it will gather all of this info. So maybe I'll make another video on that, but it's a pretty good set of data of what's been going on the machine. It's a little different. There's no user interface or anything. It just spits out a bunch of Excel files, but at least you have the data and you can kind of do with them what you want later. But yeah, and that's a CrowdStrike tool actually. Anyway, I hope you found this useful, and yeah, if you did like it and you want to see more content like this, just leave a comment and I'll try to show you guys some more cool software.